Here we are for the UFC 303 preview. Conor McGregor versus What? Well, yeah, that's funny. All the rumors, all the speculation. It is true. The fight is off. Conor McGregor, Michael Chandler, UFC 303, June 29th, 2024. Canceled, postponed, scrapped, whatever you want to say. It is not happening on International Fight Week of 2024. Conor McGregor pulled off of the fight due to injury. As a result, Michael Chandler will not face a new opponent. He will be removed from the card as well. We date back to last Monday. I believe it would have been June 4th, June 3rd, June 4th. June 3rd is what it would have been, a press conference set up in Dublin, Ireland, where Conor McGregor hails from. The Irish mixed martial arts legend was to go there and have a one-on-one press conference. Him, Michael Chandler, I'm assuming Dana White standing right in the middle, and it got scrapped on the day before. Really, it was kind of like the morning of. It was super late Sunday. Got word that it was canceled. It was postponed. No reasons given. There was speculation. Literally every single day, little by little, of what was going on. Ariel Helwani came out and really covered it the best throughout the past week and a half. 14-time MMA reporter, journalist of the year. It makes sense. He's in the know more than anyone else. And he kept us updated. The updates, I could see where people would get annoyed or confused or like, dude, you're not saying anything. But what he was saying pretty much turned out to be true. It looked like there was an injury for Conor McGregor. At one point, it seemed that there was some positivity that the fight could happen, but the UFC was sending out feelers for replacements just in case. Then they kind of halted on that. It looked like we were all systems go. The videos got put back on YouTube. The promos got played during the UFC Louisville broadcast last Saturday. It was all gravy, baby. I even had a meme set on all the social media accounts ready to post for Chandler versus Conor McGregor. But here we are now. Conor McGregor injured, unable to perform on June 29th. They are off of the card, but the card is not canceled, and we have some damn good fights to make up for it. I realize nothing is going to suffice for a Conor McGregor fight card, especially I feel for those that have purchased tickets and flights and everything else to go to Vegas. I can only imagine how you guys are feeling, and I really do empathize with that. But for us here that get to watch on TV, dare I say this card as a whole got better. In the main event of UFC 303, I almost got confused with 300 because the same guy that saved that card is saving this card. Alex Pereira, Chama, baby. He is back on short notice, coming off of 2 broken toes and a knockout over Jamal Hill on April 13th at UFC 300. He is going to defend his light heavyweight title for what will be the second successful time if he can beat the man he won the title against last November, Jiri Prochazka, the former light heavyweight champion of the world. The rematch is set. The short notice booking is set. Alex Pereira is the face of the UFC right now. Conor McGregor broke his leg versus Dustin Poirier in July of 2021 at International Fight Week. Alex Pereira debuted in the UFC in November of 2021 in Madison Square Garden. So since Conor McGregor's injury, this is what Alex Pereira has done. He has fought 8 times in the UFC with a record of 7 victories and only 1 defeat. He became the UFC middleweight champion after just 3 fights. In his 4th fight in the company, he knocked out Israel Adesanya, one of the most dominant champions we had seen in quite some time. He loses to Israel Adesanya. I'm getting a pop-up blocker on my screen. As I was saying, he won the belt from Israel Adesanya 1 year later from his UFC debut in November of 2022. He goes to rematch Izzy in April of 2023, loses the middleweight championship back to Adesanya. We know what has happened since. Izzy lost to Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland lost to Dricus du Plessis. Now it looks like Israel is going to be back to fight Dricus du Plessis in August. That's a fight announcement video for another day. So after losing the middleweight championship, going 4-1 in a 185 pounds in the UFC, Alex Pereira goes up to 205 pounds, beats Jan Blachowicz just 2 months, or April, May, June, 3 months later after losing the middleweight title. He moves up 20 pounds, beats former champion Jan Blachowicz, earns himself a shot to face Jiri Prochazka in November of 2023. Are you seeing a trend here with Alex Pereira? He gets big fights when it comes down to November. He fights Jiri for the vacant light heavyweight belt, and he beats him, knocks him out in the second round to become the light heavyweight champion. And then he defended against Jamal Hill just 2.5 months ago on April 13th at UFC 300, knocked him out 3 minutes and 14 seconds in. Now he will look to continue making history in what will be his, what did I say? He was 7-1 in the UFC. His 9th UFC fight ever. He will look to defend his second weight championship a second time. This man has done more than enough to already call himself a Hall of Famer in single-digit number of fights in the UFC. The career of Alex Pereira is unlike anything we have ever seen in the history of mixed martial arts. And how about this brand new, no fighters added or cut? This is just brand spanking new, much like the main event was. Featherweight top 15 fighter Diego Lopes, number 14 to be exact, is getting his biggest opportunity to date. He just beat Sadiq Yusuff at UFC 300 to crack into the rankings for the first time, and now he will face former title challenger and number 3 ranked Brian T-City Ortega in the co-main event of UFC 303. An absolute banger in the featherweight division. Brian Ortega coming off of his victory over Yair Rodriguez. Diego Lopes is on an absolute tear. One of the biggest stars in the featherweight division, and he's only been in the UFC for a few fights at this point. Big opportunity for him to launch himself into title contention, and for Brian Ortega to knock off the rising star and make himself prominent for his second UFC title shot. And last but not least for UFC 300, we had another injury. Jamal Hill, former light heavyweight champion, was originally set to face Khalil Rountree. Khalil Rountree had to withdraw from the fight due to a banned substance positive test. In stepped Carlos Ulberg, who's on, I believe, a 6-fight win streak, 5 straight knockout victories, if my math is correct. So then it was Ulberg versus Jamal Hill. Jamal looking to hold his spot, get back in the win column after losing at UFC 300, and Ulberg looking to get the biggest victory of his career. Jamal Hill goes down with an injury. In steps another former title challenger, Anthony Lionheart Smith, coming off of a submission victory over Vitor Petrino at UFC 301 in May. He is turning around and fighting June 29th to hold his spot to take on Carlos Ulberg. Anthony Smith will be coming into this fight ranked number 10. Ulberg is number 11. Absolute chaos. UFC 303. Wow. Give me all of your thoughts on the madness surrounding International Fight Week 2024. Will we ever see Conor McGregor fight Michael Chandler? Will we ever see Conor McGregor fight in the UFC again, period? And give me your thoughts on the new fights that were made. What do you think of them? Are these good replacements? Again, nothing can make up for a Conor McGregor fight, but this is pretty damn close. Give me all your thoughts and your early predictions in the comments below. And before we get out of here, there is one more fight announcement that we have to discuss. That is next weekend's main event. The first ever fight card for the UFC in Saudi Arabia was scheduled to be headlined by Robert Whittaker and the undefeated Khamzat Chimaev. Robert Whittaker, former champion, number 3 ranked in the division. Khamzat, I believe number 10 or number 11 in the middleweight division. He was coming in looking to remain undefeated and earn his first shot at UFC Gold. Khamzat Chimaev out with an illness/injury. Not a lot of in-depth details yet, but he posted a picture in the hospital. He was looking very, very bad. So, of course, we hope that he will recover soon, be able to get back in the cage later on in 2024. But the fight is not canceled. Robert Whittaker will still be in the main event, and he will now take on Ikram Aliskerov, who was supposed to fight tomorrow, the day I'm recording this on Friday, June 14th. He was supposed to fight on Saturday, June 15th at UFC Vegas 93. His fight has been removed. He's flying across to Saudi Arabia and taking on Robert Whittaker in what will be just his 3rd UFC fight. The Dana White Contender Series alum, whose only loss in his career was in the regional scene, international regional scene, against, you guessed it, Khamzat Chimaev. What a moment it could be if Ikram can beat Robert Whittaker. And kudos to both these guys for accepting this fight on a week notice, especially on the side of Robert Whittaker, who doesn't have a ton to gain from this, but he has a whole lot to lose. So an absolutely chaotic evening in the world of mixed martial arts. That was Thursday, June 13th. I'm sorry I couldn't get this out sooner. It came out super late at night, Dana White's announcement video. I was already in bed for work. Then I worked today, so I came home, got this recorded, hopefully getting this up at a decent time on Friday for you all. So please be sure to drop a like if you enjoyed. Give me all of your thoughts on all of this fight chaos in the comments below. Join the community on social media at the BAJ MMA. And last but not least, if you like long form audio podcast episodes, you can follow on Spotify and Apple and listen to those every Friday and Monday. Whew! I'm going to go lay down. Actually, I'm not. I'm editing this and then posting this. You get the point. I need a break. See you in the next video.